The Diddy lawsuit, power, abuse, and the question of accountability. What really happened between Diddy and Cassie? Was this a case of long-term abuse or something more complex behind the scenes? And why are so many prominent black entertainers suddenly finding themselves under legal fire? Let's dive deep into the controversy, the lawsuit, and what it all could mean. Background on Diddy and Cassie. Sean Diddy Combs, once known as Puff Daddy P. Diddy and the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records, is one of the most influential figures in hip-hop history. With a career that spans music, fashion, and business, Diddy built a legacy that many would call iconic. In the early 2000s, he began a romantic relationship with R&B singer Cassie Ventura, who was signed to his label. Their relationship reportedly lasted over a decade, during which they kept much of their private life out of the spotlight. That changed dramatically in late 2023, when Cassie filed a bombshell lawsuit accusing Diddy of rape, repeated physical abuse, and forcing her to engage in disturbing and degrading sexual encounters. The suit asked for $30 million to $50 million in damages. Within 24 hours, Diddy reached a settlement with Cassie, reportedly paying her $20 million, although the final figure was never officially disclosed. The allegations. Cassie's lawsuit included extremely serious allegations, including claims of manipulation, drugging, coercion, and disturbing forms of control. Some of the claims described freak-offs, encounters where she was allegedly forced to have sex with male escorts while Diddy watched or participated. The lawsuit further alleges that Cassie contracted STIs as a result of these incidents and that she was emotionally and psychologically damaged by the long-term abuse. But perhaps one of the most shocking moments in this case came in May 2024, when CNN released surveillance video footage from 2016 showing Diddy physically attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway, shoving her to the ground, kicking her, and forcibly dragging her back into the room. That video went viral immediately. This footage gave strong visual confirmation to at least one of Cassie's claims: the physical abuse. Diddy later issued a public apology, calling the moment inexcusable. However, the backlash was swift and global. Was Cassie silent too long? One major point that some commentators and online communities have raised is the timing of Cassie's lawsuit. Why did she wait over a decade to come forward? If the abuse was as extreme as alleged, why didn't she report it to authorities sooner? Critics say that Cassie only came forward when the money was on the table, suggesting this could be financially motivated. Supporters of Cassie argue that survivors of abuse often stay silent for years due to fear, psychological trauma, or control by the abuser. And we must be honest here, both realities can exist. People can be manipulated into silence. And yes, people sometimes seek financial restitution for emotional or physical damages when criminal charges may be harder to prove. Cassie, to be clear, never filed criminal charges, only a civil suit, and then she settled. That's led some to feel uncertain about her motives, especially given the lack of action during the 10-plus years she was with Diddy. Still, just because someone delays speaking out doesn't mean they're lying. But the conversation about power, fame, and accountability in Hollywood, especially in the music industry, needs to be had. Diddy's rights, choices, and the question of consent. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. If Diddy is sexually unconventional, or as the internet calls it, a freak, that is his right. Adults are allowed to explore consensual intimacy how they choose. It's not our place to judge what goes on behind closed doors between consenting adults. However, consent is the key word here. If anyone is being manipulated, coerced, drugged, or emotionally abused into performing sexual acts they didn't agree to, that's not freakiness. That's assault. So while Diddy may have had a preference for extreme or wild encounters, that's not what's on trial. What matters here is, was there consent? Was there control? Was there abuse? And so far, beyond the disturbing hotel video, we don't yet have hard evidence proving every other claim made in the lawsuit. That's why due process matters. Let the legal system examine the evidence, not trial by social media. Black entertainers under fire. Now let's zoom out. In recent years, we've seen a disturbing pattern. Black entertainers being taken down in very public and aggressive ways. R. Kelly was convicted for decades of sexual abuse. Bill Cosby was imprisoned and later released after a technicality. Even Smokey Robinson has faced civil legal disputes recently. Now Diddy, once hip-hop royalty, is facing lawsuits, investigations, and PR collapse. Some observers have pointed out that many of these takedowns involve men who were once praised, wealthy, and influential, but are now disgraced, imprisoned, or under legal attack. This has led to a lot of speculation. Are famous black men being targeted? Is there an unseen agenda at play? Some even suggest that this could be part of an Illuminati-style humiliation ritual, a price of fame or an example of what happens when black power threatens the status quo. Now, we're not here to promote conspiracies, but it is worth asking, why do so many cases suddenly emerge once the star is at their peak or after years of silence? Why are black celebrities seemingly held under a different spotlight than others? Could it be systemic bias? Could it be media sensationalism? Or could it be legitimate justice finally catching up? We'll leave that for you to decide, but the pattern is too loud to ignore. Section 6. Closing Thoughts. So where does this leave us? Diddy, like anyone, deserves a fair investigation. If he committed crimes, he must be held accountable. If he abused someone, it must be brought to light. But we also must hold space for complexity, for asking tough questions like, why did Cassie stay for so long? Why no criminal charges? Why a settlement and silence? And perhaps the most important question of all, what happens when fame, money, trauma, and power collide behind closed doors? Let's not be quick to defend nor quick to condemn. Let's seek truth, justice, and fairness for both the accused and the accuser. And let's remember, if the law was broken, only the courts can decide that. Until then, we watch, we think, and we stay informed. Outro. If you found this video thought-provoking, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going, not with hate, but with insight. And remember, in the age of viral media and whispered secrets, the truth still matters.